Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Aaron Trevino here, and we have two wonderful guests from beautiful Houston, Texas. We have Lisa and Nick. How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
Hi there.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've had this in the works for a little bit, so it's great to connect, and I'm excited to hear about this one because I know you guys are in our backyard. I live in Austin. You guys are in Houston, but it's always great to have a guest from that area.
Well, we're happy to be here. I'm actually, I grew up in Austin myself, so you're in good company.
No, absolutely. So for those of us who aren't too familiar with y'all, would you introduce yourself, please?
Why don't you start, Lisa?
Sure. So my name is Lisa, and I've been in real estate for about 25 years. I'm an active investor, own my own properties, manage my own inventory, as well as I work in finance. The majority of my career has been in finance. I do rehab properties, and I'm all about investing and love real estate. I'm a broker for over 20 years. I'm licensed in California and also in Texas.
Awesome. My name is Nick Kreager. I am a lender. I'm a mortgage banker, but I haven't always been a lender by trade. My background is a little bit different. I am an avid investor as well. I own property, both commercial and residential property. But prior to being a lender, I was actually in the oil and gas business in my previous life as an avid trader of interest rate swaps, options, derivatives, very complicated financial instruments. I got out of that rat race to really focus on helping consumers and regular people acquire wealth through home ownership. And we really take a different approach to lending that we've learned from other markets like oil and gas and consulting when I was in consulting even before that, to really help people maneuver the market as it is right now. And so we really are very passionate about helping people create wealth through home ownership, utilizing both our products, but also our methodologies. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I love to hear that. And it's interesting as well. I mean, I know that, Lisa, you'd mentioned you've been in the industry for quite some time. You're familiar with Texas as well as California. You're kind of bridging that gap, given the amount of people from there that are moving here to Texas. And then I would imagine, Nick, it's interesting to kind of see your analytical background kind of play into, where you are now in the mortgage industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all markets are very similar, but at the end of the day, it's all about people working with people. And that's what it really boils down to. So our approach to things is to be both educationally, educate consumers as to what their best options are to allow them to really go to the next level in wealth.
And I also think that most individuals that do mortgage finance, especially these days when the market's really hot, don't necessarily have the capacity to guide someone like an advisor. And Nick and I both take a very, educational approach to guiding individuals on what's best for them on their overall portfolio.
Right, definitely. I guess everyone knows that, a lot of lenders, the market's crazy, whether you're in Dallas or Houston, wherever it may be, in Austin, San Antonio, the whole market's on fire. So we know that lenders have the business and, they're up to their gills, in responsibilities that they have to their clients. But maybe someone's maybe a first-time home buyer, or maybe just unfamiliar with mortgages in general. Where should we get started?
It's a really good question. That's what's really great about our group is that we deal with the entire gamut of buyers, from the first-time home buyer that doesn't know anything about credit, doesn't know anything about finance in general, to very all the way up to sophisticated buyers who are buying multi-million-dollar projects and things like that. It all boils down to getting qualified, and getting qualified means, definitely working with a lender to make sure that you can afford, you're setting proper expectations as to what you can afford, and then going out and searching for property. It's one thing to fall in love with a property. Anybody can fall in love with $1 million, well, in Austin, $1 million doesn't buy you very much, but as they say, a $10 million home, it's easy to fall in love with. But we want to make sure that we set the proper expectations for sure. The great thing about the programs that we have and the company that we are is that we have such a wide variety of products for people that there really is something for everybody. So even if you don't quite fit inside this box, you definitely fit inside the box of another product that we can help you with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like what you're saying in terms of you being able to bridge the gap, right? So it's not like, maybe because someone's getting a mortgage for the first time, they're kind of excluded from certain products. The approach that you guys have is, hey, maybe you don't qualify for this, maybe you qualify for that. But it's nice that you're kind of able to help guide people along the way.
Well, we do offer a variety of products. We offer FHA, VA. We offer conventional financing along with down payment assistance products. We also offer our own portfolio products, which are really unique that nobody else has in our market. We create our own guidelines, our own underwriting terms. We go from start to finish. We even service our own portfolio products.
That's right. We are willing to take risks that maybe other lenders wouldn't, because we aren't bankers thinking like bankers. We are business people and entrepreneurially minded people who happen to be in the banking space. So there are all different kinds of people out there that when you think about, for example, a self-employed person, right? The majority of self-employed people are sophisticated. And so they may think, I have money, I make money. Why is it so hard for me to get approved for a loan? And it's because they don't quite fit inside the box of, a regular conventional loan because of the way they do their taxes. They take a lot of deductions. And there are certain things that prohibit them from being able to qualify in a conventional manner. But when you really step back and think about it, is this person going to default on their loan? Most likely not, right? They have money, they make money, they're growing a business. Clearly, they're doing all the right things. Why can't they own a home? Why is it so hard for them to own a home? That's where we kind of step in and we say, you know what, we will take that risk. We will do that. We have programs for you where we don't even need to verify if your tax returns are hard, or you take a lot of losses on your tax returns. We have programs where we don't need to see your tax returns at all. You put a large enough down payment, and guess what? You've got enough skin in the game that the likelihood of you defaulting is zero. And just because someone else isn't willing to take that risk with you, we will. And we're willing to fund it with our own money.
Yeah, completely. I like that distinction that you make is, kind of, I know people get frustrated with lenders because, hey, they're, I don't exactly fit inside the box, but at the same time, you guys are familiar with the residential space, the commercial space, actually doing deals. So it's neat how you're kind of able to put yourself in, your client's shoes.
Oh yeah. I mean, before I was a lender, I was a first-time home buyer once, and I really wish people had explained to me then what I know now, because I made several mistakes that could have been avoided. And we all make mistakes. That's part of the process. What lenders in general seem to fail to understand sometimes is that even though they may do 10 of these or 20 of these a month, for that one client, this is probably one of the biggest things they've ever done in their life and may ever do in their life. And so they want to make sure that they get it right. But we as lenders tend to kind of rush through the process, and we don't do a very good job as an industry of explaining all of these details to people. And that's where we want to, quote unquote, be the change, as our company is called Change Home Mortgage. We want to be the change in financial services and demystifying all this. We don't want our clients to feel like that lending and getting a mortgage of any kind, whether it's an investment property or for a primary residence, that it's a big black box. They don't really understand what they're getting into. We want them to walk away from the experience feeling warm and fuzzy and understanding they learned something and they can apply it toward their next purchase. And we want to set them up on a platform of success, meaning that we don't want to put them into a product or a loan that's crappy, right? We don't want to set it and forget it, because most lenders are a one and done business. We don't believe in that. I want to be your lender for life. I want to be that guy that helps you get that vacation home, that investment property, that duplex, that triplex, that fourplex, whatever it is. And in order for me to help you do that, it's in my best interest to put you on that path for success. And that starts with education from the very beginning.
So although we have these really unique products and we have investor products and everything, I don't want you to think that we are by any means like a, hard money lender or anything like that. We just have really great, make sense, paper products, awesome, fantastic rates, and very flexible guidelines, but it's not going to hit you in your pocket.
And that really is an important factor because, you talk about, you mentioned earlier, the market's going nuts, right? And it's a jungle out there. In Austin, I mean, it's unbelievable. You see the great migration from California into Texas, it seems like, and in Austin, certainly being one of those markets that's being hit with that. It's a great time to be in real estate and to create wealth through real estate right now. Well, many people aren't going to be able to qualify through traditional means. And our products that we have, like Lisa mentioned, are not what are called hard money or private investor loans. We are an institution. We're a bank. We are a mortgage banking institution. And so when investors are looking to get quote unquote in the game, right, because they may not be qualifiable with a regular bank or their local credit union, they may think their only other option is to go with a private money lender, and getting an 8-9% interest rate or something like that. Our products are going to be much, much more competitive. We have products that especially for investors, which I'm most excited about, especially like in Austin and in Houston and in areas where sophisticated buyers can get in there and really kind of accentuate, the marketplace and kind of go to that next level of wealth creation. We have products where you only have to put 15% down, and there's no mortgage insurance requirement, which helps your monthly payment, helps your cash flow. But more importantly, your debt to income ratio, which if you are an investor, if you're someone who's been buying property before, you're very familiar with that term, debt to income ratio, these products have none. It's unlimited. So as long as you've got the credit score and you've got the down payment funds to do it, we're willing to go on that ride with you. And we're willing to roll that dice with you, up to 20 loans per person, up to $2 million per loan. So for your friends, your realtor friends, your people who are self-employed and your investor friends, I'm sure many people who have acquired property through hard money lending, and now we have opportunities to not only help them acquire property with a better product, but also because like a market like Austin has appreciated so much, these guys could actually refinance some of those products and get money out tax-free and utilize it to go buy more investment properties to really help get their wealth to that next level. And that product mix out there really doesn't exist out there. We're really a unicorn in that regard. Now, the way we're able to do this, and I think this is kind of important to notate, the way we're able to do this and why we're able to do this is because we are the only mortgage bank that has a special designation from the Department of Treasury. We really, really are an actual unicorn in the industry. We're the only ones that have this. And what it allows us to do is borrow money from the Federal Home Loan Bank, like a depository bank, like a bank, which makes us different from our peers because our cost to run our business is so much lower. And what do we do with that? We spread that down in the form of lower rates for consumers. That's one. Number two is that it allows us to create all these products that nobody else has, but the whole emphasis on these products is actually helping our communities. When we say we want to be the change, it's kind of like Gandhi. He said, be the change you want to see in the world. Well, he means like, within your communities, you got to start, it starts with you and you help your communities. There are so many great people who are doing all the right things. They're starting businesses, they're employing people, they're trying to do the right things, and it's so hard for them to get to acquire property. And so because of our designation, we're able to do that. We're able to do that for them, and we have special incentives for those groups of people. So say, for instance, the Hispanic community, for instance, has been long disenfranchised in its ability to get loans. The community itself has, and so have African Americans. Okay, if you look at history, disproportionately, they've had a harder time getting home loans than other demographics. So we actually have all of these featured products that we're talking about, that if you are African American or you're Hispanic or you live in a low income area and where those places need development and need investment, they get a discount off their interest rate. just for being parts of those groups, because we're trying to incentivize our communities to invest in themselves. Does that make sense?
That's being the change, right?
That is being the change. And so we mean it wholeheartedly. And there's nothing more, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to put your money where your mouth is. And when we do, because we're willing to bankroll these loans because we believe in these programs and we believe in these communities that much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I can see just the way you described it was beautiful, but I can see the uniqueness in this product. And I'm just curious as well, you kind of mentioned how obviously, you want to be the change. It's a unique product. Why do you think it's unique, or why do you think there aren't other competitors out there who can offer this the same way you could?
It's a good question. The real reason is because of that designation from the Department of Treasury. It is a very long legal lead time to get the same certification that we have. So there's three ways to make money in any business, right? In my mind, you can either be first to market with it, you can be smarter than everybody else, or you can cheat. We don't cheat. And I'd like to think that we have some really smart people in our business, but there's also smart people elsewhere. So the best way is to be first. And so we were first to market with this idea. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't trying to replicate what we're doing. And eventually they will. And eventually that's okay, because competition is good for the consumer. But in the meantime, it's going to take years for them to be able to go through the lobbying process that's required to get the certification. And then the historical nature, so for us to be able to continue to keep our accreditation, 60% of all of our loans have to go to those demographics of people. Now, no lender out there is going to want to have to disproportionately lend that much of their loans to these smaller demographics of people, but we can, because we are strategically placed throughout the nation where 90% of our loans meet those qualifications in certain cities, in certain areas. So that allows us to be able to offer these products, even though they're identified for inner community people, but anybody can use them. So, I mean, we have a Beverly Hills office.
They're killing it.
And they're killing it. Trust me. Our Beverly Hills office is killing it with these products, but so are our smaller investors in Houston. We've got people who, for instance, want to bring money out of another country like Mexico or Venezuela or Colombia, and they're moving, so many people, the migrant, the immigration effort to move into this country to create a better life, it's huge. And these people want to own homes, but they don't even have credit. They don't have social security cards. They don't have nothing. Well, we have, for them, it's extremely difficult. If you come into this, we have a foreign national program that's designed for people to come in here, buy homes, start businesses, and start doing the right things the American way. And we have those abilities to help them. So people who have no credit, no history, no income, no qualifiable of any sense, we're able to do those loans for them too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it comes at a really interesting time. I mean, I know that we talked about how the market's hot, but, we also talked a bit about the migration patterns and maybe foreign nationals wanting to move here. So it sounds like you're bridging a lot of different gaps and truly offering something unique.
Yeah, absolutely. We're the only mortgage banking organization in the nation with this designation. So that makes us truly unique. And the fact that these products are created from us means that no one else has them.
And that is a very, very big distinction, because when investors and buyers are dealing with a local lender and they say they have a quote unquote bank statement program, or they have, a 1-year tax return program, what they're really saying is they have a broker outlet, meaning that they have to actually then go reach out to somebody else to do it. And it is a nightmare to go through that process. You can ask any one of your investor friends, any one of your, people who had to go through, those types of programs. It's very, very difficult, because basically you've got some company out there that specializes in one thing. It might be just, for instance, Angel Oak, right? They specialize in bank statement loans. Well, whenever you have to broker to that kind of situation, it's very difficult. Well, what we love about the way we do things is that because we're funding this with our own money, we use our same team. So for us, it's no different if a client's going to get an FHA loan or a VA loan than they are to do one of these other products. We have total control of the entire process, which overall leads to a better client satisfaction, which is ultimately going to be, that stepping stone to growing with them through their process, through their path.
And our processors are also licensed, so they understand the process and can help the consumer along the way.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that you kind of spoke about along the way, how you mentioned that at times lenders can, just want to be a one and done, right? So you transact once and that'd be it. But, I like that this is, or not just me, but it seems like people kind of like that relationship based focus.
Absolutely. Think about this. Wherever you go, if you have a 401k, if you're in a job and you've got a 401k or you've got some kind of financial advisor, there are people out there who are designed to help you navigate your investments, right? They're helping you navigate what mutual funds should you be in and how are we going to increase your wealth over time. What there is not are people on the other side of that equation, on the debt side, to help you manage your debt over time. Because if you're investing and you make a 1% in interest, a dollar earned is additional wealth to you. But if I save you interest, if I save you $1, that is the same thing as making you money. So we don't call our loan officers. I don't like that term. I think it sounds salesy. We are mortgage advisors. We're here to help you through what will probably be some of the biggest financial pieces of your life. And we want to help you do it right. You seem like a well-dressed guy. So if this is the difference between, buying a suit off the rack at Macy's and getting a tailored Giorgio Armani suit. We want this to be custom done. The entire process should be custom done. We live in a world now where things can be more catered to the way we do things, as opposed to like a one size fits all mentality. And we want your lending life to be the same. Just like you would follow your financial advisor as you get older and more mature and you start to have different needs and different wants, different expectations. And diversify. The same is true with your exposure to interest rates and your debt. And we're here to walk you through that path all the way. We do not want to be a one and done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you drew a great comparison to talking about clothing and suits. And it kind of reminds me of, I don't know about y'all, but at least for me, maybe you buy some pants off the rack or a shirt off the rack and it looks good, but when you put it on, it looks a little boxy. It doesn't have that look that you want. So I can kind of see a comparison here where you're offering a tailor-made approach.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think it's a changing environment as well with COVID coming into play back in 2020. A lot of people in the industry lost their jobs, had to pick up and started their self-employment career just to make ends meet. And a lot of those people are flourishing today.
Mm-hmm. And they should be penalized for doing the right things. And that's something that probably over time, maybe Congress and the government they can make regulations to adjust the regulations on getting approved through regular mortgages. But in the meantime, you know how long it takes for Congress to do anything. In the meantime, that's why companies like us exist, to really step in and actually provide the hole that's already we're filling up the hole that's in the market. And what's great about the way we do things is our company as a whole is large enough to matter, but small enough to be nimble. Yeah. So if the market changes, we can change with it. We can duck and dive and change with the market. And that ability to be agile through a dynamic market is what I learned through my oil and gas days experience. So we really Lisa brings a whole wealth of knowledge from the real estate side. I bring a wealth of knowledge of markets in general and the way finance and money moves and transacts. Because at the end of the day, everything matters as it pertains to interest rates.
And it's about the pivot.
It's about the pivot. You want to pivot whenever the market adjusts. And that is something that most lenders typically do not do. Because I don't know about your business, but in the lending business and even in the real estate business as a residential realtor, typically somebody gets into that line of work because somebody wanted them, promoted them to get into that line of work. And then they learned from that person, like an apprenticeship type mentality. And that person learned from the person who brought them in, and so forth and so forth. It's a very linear way of learning. The problem with that is that if markets are dynamic and changing and you only have one set of skills, you will die. You can't flourish in that. And so for us, for our mortgage advisors, we are constantly educating ourselves and understanding what makes the markets change so that we can apply that to our clients. And that's how they're able to execute their loans so much more effectively, which at the end of the day ends up being a tailor-made solution for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we live in a dynamic world, right? So, you know, things are changing not only in the business world, but, you know, really in all aspects of life. So, you know, you may as well roll with it, right? And adjust accordingly.
So,
You got to.
Yeah.
Aaron, some of the things that we can do when it comes time to like looking at income, we offer products that will look at just 1 year's tax returns. We have a bank statement program. We have a no debt to income ratio program. So we're very diverse in the different needs of our community and our borrowers. So everyone's different, right? Your credit score is different from my credit score, different from Nick's credit score. And so we look at those individual traits and we find the product that best suits their needs, whether it's a conforming conventional or whether it's a jumbo, you know, 1 year's tax returns. Our flexibility allows the individual to find the house in the price range that they're really looking for, and it doesn't limit them. We do this every single day with people who talk about, you know, I want to buy a house at $600,000 and I'm only qualified for 400 because I've made $700,000 on my gross earnings, but have net just 200,000 and have investment properties. You know, we go through this routine over and over again, and with our guidelines and our flexibility on qualifying with our income standards and such, they're able to qualify for so much more and get the house that they really, really want.
Yes, absolutely. Well said. You know, maybe, you know, Lisa and Nick, you know, thank you for coming on the show. Maybe if someone's in the Houston area, they're wanting to learn more about your educational programs, your products, or just want to connect with you about some deals, you know, where can we find you?
You can find Lisa. Lisa can be your point of contact. If you want to provide Aaron, you want us to tell you her email address, or you can maybe provide it to all of your listeners?
Yeah, just give me a call. I'm really easy to get a hold of. I work most days and nights. My number is 832-797-1594. 832-797-1594.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. You know, Nick and Lisa, it's been a real pleasure learning a bit more about you, about the Houston market and, you know, the unique product that you offer. It's been a real pleasure, and thank you so much.